Is it time to panic about hip hop? And are you to blame for it failing on the charts? We're going to talk about that right here on the ESKO Let's Go podcast. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit the bell, turn on those notifications so you don't miss any more music talk right here on my channel. All right, so Billboard, they broke the news today. For the first time, 35 years, people, not a single hip hop song was in the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100 since 1990. This is the first time ever. So everyone that was talking this year about, music and hip hop is down, they're right. It is down, but it's down from a mainstream aspect. That's what that really means. Okay, this is what this chart really means. What it means is, yes, there are big hip hop songs, but they haven't bursted out into the other genres like they normally do, right? The other formats when it comes to radio, they haven't hit outside of the bubble of the hip hop world, okay? So there's nothing that's bleeding into pop culture or everyday life right now, currently, and for honestly the past couple of months. All right, it doesn't mean that it was completely down all year. Now Kendrick Lamar, obviously huge, dominated with the Super Bowl. Luther was #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 13 weeks. Drake has done really well with all his songs he's dropped. Nokia got it to #2. What did I miss? Got up to #2, which one? But Kendrick Lamar and Drake aren't the problem. They did their job this year. What happened to everybody else? Well, Travis Scott, the only thing he released this year was, Jack Boys, Future. I mean, he gave us how many albums last year? 3? He hasn't done nothing this year. What I'm really trying to say is hip hop doesn't have enough superstars. Who are superstars? Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Future, Travis Scott. See? And the fact that I have to pause right there and think about who else I would consider a superstar is part of the problem. But those are the guys that really move albums, all right? Really move albums, really move streaming numbers. Now you do have a rising superstar right now, NBA YoungBoy. No doubt about it. The guy is an absolute superstar within the genre, but he hasn't crossed over yet. Now, there's 2 songs at radio right now that do feature him that aren't his typical songs, all right? He's on a song with DJ Khaled and Post Malone that's called Brother. It's doing good in our radio format. My radio format's Rhythmic, which is a hybrid of hip-hop and pop music. And then he has a new song. He's featured on Tusi's new song. I just added that to my rotation this week. It's called Please Don't Go. And he sounds great on those type of records, but it's not like the typical NBA YoungBoy song. It's not what made him as big as he is amongst those young listeners, right? Now, he sold out a bunch of shows, but part of his problem is that he had to cancel some shows. For, street reasons, basically. You know what I mean? But it's going to be interesting to see how his career goes forward because, the street stuff is part of his mystique, right? That is part of his mystique. And the fact that you could say, him not being allowed to perform in certain places, that could also add to the aura, the mystique of him, right? Being banned, it kind of makes his fans even want to see him even more. But at some point, he's going to have to make a decision about where he wants his career to go. Because if you want to blow up even bigger, you got to leave that stuff behind, man. So it'll be interesting to see where his career goes in 2026. But, there's a potential future superstar, but he does have to cross over like everyone else has crossed over. And nobody more than Drake. Right? Drake is a part of pop culture. His music is a part of pop culture throughout his entire career. There's so many moments that involve him, whether it's memes or dances or just hooks or, just people quoting his lyrics as captions. That's what I'm saying. That's what's really missing in 2025. Again, the music just not breaking outside of the hip hop bubble into the mainstream of everything. That's what that Billboard report is really about and what it's really trying to tell everyone, all right? Because there have been some great stuff this year as far as hip hop is concerned. Of course, you're going to see a lot of Grammy nominations involving hip hop, including the Clips album, Let God Sort 'Em Out. Expect that to get plenty of Grammy nominations. Kendrick Lamar, GNX, expect that to once again get Grammy nominations. So from an award standpoint, yes, those albums will do well. Tyler, the Creator, probably get some Grammy nominations as well. But just right now, They're just not breaking through mainstream radio. They're not breaking through mainstream streaming. They're bubbling though. They're close. A couple of songs are close to breaking through the top 40. Like I mentioned, NBA YoungBoy, his song "Shot Calling." It's right. It's like 40 something. I think Metro Boomin and Quavo "Take Me Through There." That's probably one of the hottest hip hop songs we're playing right now. I think that one could potentially break that top 40. It's getting a lot of spins at radio as far as like urban radio, rhythmic radio. Those are the two formats that play hip hop. What would really help is if one of these songs, one of these hip hop songs, would get to top 40 radio. Top 40 radio is just like so important to the Billboard Hot 100 chart, from the simple fact that every market in America has a top 40 radio station, and top 40 radio stations spin songs more than everybody. Like a bunch. I'm talking about over 100 times a week, a single song, okay? That's why you see, artists like Alex Warren, Ordinary. That's why he's been at the top of the charts for so long. Shabuzi was on the charts forever. Top 40 radio. There's another format, Hot AC Radio. Those stations spin songs way more than everybody else, and they spin them for a long time, right? They hold on to those hits because that's what it is, right? Top 40, the top 40 songs. That's all they play. Pretty simple to understand, right? And we haven't had a hip hop song breakthrough on top 40 since Luther. All right, so Luther went number one for 13 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100. So how did you do that? Obviously, streams are huge. Coming off the Super Bowl, it was the most Shazam song on the Super Bowl out of his Super Bowl performance. Obviously, SZA killed it and brought everyone's like, "Whoa, this song's amazing. Let's find out what it is." And then it took off at our format, which is rhythmic urban, went number one there. Then it also went to Urban AC, which is an older format. It's R&B. That's the main focus of that station. Went number one there because it is like an R&B song. And then it went to top 40, and that's what helped it send it to the top. I mean, that song Luther is just a perfect radio song, right? It's, first of all, it's clean. We didn't have to edit it. It's plug and play. You can just put it on and it seamlessly goes with any type of genre of music that you're playing. So it was a huge song for them, super successful, but it wouldn't be number one without top 40 radio spinning it, because like I said, every market in America has a top 40 radio station. They spun it all year long, basically, all right? They spun it over and over and over again. And it was on basically every radio station in America. Because like I said, all those different formats, 4 different formats were playing that song. So that's what this report really is. We just don't have a hip-hop song that has done that has broken through mainstream. Are we going to get one this year? Maybe that Quavo and Metro Boomin. Maybe it'll break through. Maybe NBA YoungBoy. Now, 21 Savage, he might drop an album this year, but we'll see. It's towards the end of the year. Here's another thing. The music industry, radio industry, as far as like new music, we basically go on holiday break on December 10th. Because it's Mariah Carey season, okay? We're pretty much done. There's not going to be any more new music. So if somebody decides to drop around that time, we'll see what happens. Or before that time, we'll see what happens. But we're getting close to the end here of the year, so I don't know. I don't know if hip-hop's going to break through that top 40 on the Billboard Hot 100 just yet. But don't panic, people. Remember, last year, hip-hop was king. It dominated with the Drake and Kendrick battle, proving that it can still dominate the mainstream, the media, everything. So it's just one of those things. Everything goes up and down, dude. So we'll see what happens next year, probably. As long as Drake drops, we'll be all right. All right, that's it. Make sure you check out these other videos wherever I'm putting them. Check out these other videos if you want to learn more about radio and spins and radio formats and the Billboard Hot 100. Thanks for watching.